Good morning, class. Today we are going to start our lesson on the basic needs of plants and animals, which includes humans. And we're going to start that off by showing you a couple of model posters I have that you'll be able to reference during the lesson. First, I'm going to fill out the plant poster. So there are 5 basic needs of a plant. And a basic need is what the plant has to have in order to survive and thrive. So the first need that we will talk about with plants is their need for water. The second need we will be talking about is their need for air. The third need we will be talking about is they need a place to live. Space to survive. The fourth need is light. And the last need for a plant that they have to survive are nutrients. And for animals and humans, they also have 5 basic needs. The first one being a space to survive. The second, they need a shelter, a place to live in. A third is food. Fourth is water. And the fifth is air. Now that I've shown you my posters, I'm going to show you a couple of quick videos that might help you remember what the basic needs of plants and animals are. Here's our first video.
For a plant to stay alive, it needs 5 things I would not lie. It needs water so it can grow. And it needs soil just like so. Plants need space, they can't be tied. The sun helps plants by giving light. Don't forget to give plants air. Repeat the needs if you dare. Need 1, water. Need 2, soil. Need 3, space. Need 4, light. Need 5, air.
Okay, that is our first video, and that one is all about the 5 needs of plants. The next video I'm going to show is about the needs of an animal. It's the same kind of video, but all about what animals need.
For animals to stay alive, they need 4 things I would not lie. They need food so they can grow. And they need water just like so. They need shelter, a place to live. And they need air, they breathe it in. It's our job to give animals care. Sing the needs if you dare. Need 1, food. Need 2, water. Need 3, shelter. Need 4, air.
Okay, so those are just a couple of videos to help you remember the different needs of plants and animals. So this week we're going to be working on a little booklet that I created to help us remember what these needs are, because this is something that you're going to need to know. So the first page in our booklet will talk to us about different words that we need to remember throughout the lesson. The first word is needs. The second word, plant, animal, human, food, water, nutrients, air, shelter, light, and space. So what are the basic needs of plants? Let's start with talking about what a plant is. A plant is a large group of living things such as grasses, trees, vines, vegetables, cactuses, ferns, and mosses that use sunlight to make their own food. Most plants have leaves, stems, roots, and either flowers or cones. Plants use a green pigment called chlorophyll to absorb energy from sunlight. The first need of a plant is water. What is water? Well, water is a clear liquid that has no taste or odor. Water takes the form of rain, rivers, oceans, and lakes, and is a requirement for most forms of life. The second need of a plant is light, which is the form of energy that makes it possible for the eye to see. The sun produces light. The third need of a plant is nutrients. Nutrients are something that is found in food that helps people, animals, and plants live and grow. The fourth need of a plant is air. Air is the mixture of gases that surrounds the earth. Air is made up of oxygen, nitrogen, and other gases and has no taste, odor, or color. And the last and fifth basic need of a plant is space. They need their own area set aside for particular use. So now we have a little activity that says which of these are examples of what a plant needs. Circle all 5 that apply. I'm going to give you just a second to go ahead and do that. Then we'll do it together. Okay, let's talk about the needs of a plant. Now, if we remember, there are 5. The first one, plants need water. The second, plants need air. They need a place to live. They need nutrients, and they need sunlight. That would be the answer to the 5 needs of a plant. So now we're going to move on to the needs of an animal, including humans. So what are the basic needs of animals and humans? Let's look at that. We're going to start with talking about what exactly an animal is. Animal and human. They are a large group of living things that can move around by themselves to find food. Animals eat plants, funguses, and other animals. Birds, reptiles, fish, amphibians, mammals, which include humans, insects, snails, and worms are all some of the major kinds of animals. So what is it that animals need to live? First, they need food. And food is anything that contains nutrients and is eaten by a living creature in order to maintain life, health, and growth. The second need they have is water. just like plants. So water is a clear liquid that has no taste or odor. Water takes the form of rain, rivers, oceans, and lakes, and is a requirement for most kinds of life. The third need of an animal, just like plants again, is air. And air is the mixture of gases that surrounds the earth. Air is made up of oxygen, nitrogen, and other gases and has no odor, no taste, no color. The fourth need of a human and an animal is shelter. Shelter is a place or structure that gives protection against weather or danger. Now notice, I have a house here as shelter, but shelter is anything that protects you from the weather and danger. It could be a den for a wild animal, or a tree, or a doghouse, or just anywhere that covers you and protects you. And the last and final, number 5, need of an animal is space, the area that is set aside for particular use. So we just need a place that we are able to survive and thrive. So now we're going to move on and do the same activity as we did for plants. And this one says, which of these are examples of an animal and human needs? Circle all 4 on this page that apply. So the first one is going to be air. We need air to survive. We also need food, water, and shelter. That is going to be the answer for this activity. We don't have a picture for space, but that is our 5th. And when we turn to the next page, I just provided a sheet to show the different kinds of nutrients that plants need during their life cycle. This is what they use throughout their life. So you can take a look at this on your own time and even look at our periodic table chart to figure out what these different nutrients are. On the same note, I also provided you with this simple little picture. The first one is the food pyramid. And this is for what animals or humans use in order to survive for food. And this will talk to you about the different needs that you need as a human, such as vegetables and fruit, whole meal and wheat foods, milks, yogurts, and cheeses, meats and poultry, or beans and nuts, any sort of protein, and then different fats and oils. These are all different things that our body need to live. And down here is a little life cycle of animals to show you what they might eat in the wild. And that would be, there's plants first, and a rabbit, a mouse, a goat. They might eat those plants. And on top of that, snakes and owls and wild cats and lions, they might eat the little animals here. And you can take a look at these illustrations on your own time as well. So the final activity that we're going to do is everyone is going to have to do this by yourself. You need to label the 5 basic needs of animals and humans. I'll give you a second to do that and then we'll go over it together. Okay, let's talk about the different needs. The first one we have here is space. We need a space to live. The second one is food. The third is water. The fourth, shelter. The 5th is air. And that completes that activity. Now we're going to do the same thing, but for plants. So everyone take just a couple of seconds to fill out your sheet that says, label the 5 basic needs of plants. All right, now let's go over it together. Number 1 is light. Number 2, water. Number 3 is a place to live. Number 4, nutrients. Number 5, air. All right, everyone, that was awesome. We made it through the whole packet. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what you will get to do on your own with all of this information. You have 3 choices that you're able to do. Number 1 is I have several different books that you guys are allowed to look at in a bin in the back of the room. There are 4 different books that you can take a look at. And then you also have the option of going on your Chromebooks and doing some research on the basic needs of plants and animals. The 4th choice that you have is I have a bunch of materials here for you guys to create your own model posters, just like mine, so that you have your own to remember the needs of plants and animals. Now, before we end this lesson, we have to talk about the character education topic that goes along with what we're talking about. And for this lesson, it is respect for natural environment, which means an awareness and appreciation for the limited resources available for humankind, which is reflected in one's own behavior. In other words, you know what we have has a limit and you value what we have. And to close this lesson, because we've all done amazing, we're going to have a really good snack. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up a couple of National Geographic videos that are going to show us all about different plants and animals and what they need. You guys did super awesome. Thank you for this week's lesson. You did really great.